What's going on, ladies and gents? It's been a little while, but it's good to be back again. And the reason why it's been a little while is because I actually went on another little holiday shortly after I got back from LA. When, where, why? So this was early July. I actually travelled interstate to Adelaide, South Australia, where I was born, given that I'm currently living in Melbourne, Victoria. And I did so because it was my birthday and I wanted to see some friends and family. My friends and family are kind of split 50-50 between Adelaide and Melbourne. As well as my birthday, it's also been the 2-year anniversary of my channel. Hooray! Which, if you don't know, my channel was created the day before my birthday. That was when I uploaded my first video, Resident Evil 4 Part 1. But before I get too much into the 2-year anniversary of my channel, I want to delve into the subject matter behind the title of this video, which will summarize my experiences spent in LA. So if you've seen my previous videos, you know that some of my experiences consist of Ripley's Believe It or Not Auditorium and also Universal Studios. But after these two events, I had one more major event left to conclude my holiday, and that is the Crank Gameplay Show. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned this earlier, but I've been planning for quite a while to travel to LA. But what I really needed was an excuse to follow through with my plan. When Ethan mentioned that he was doing not only a single show, but a whole tour around all of the US, including LA, this was basically the incentive I was waiting for, and I decided to buy myself 2 VIP tickets. But in the end, my dad didn't end up going, so I went there by myself, which I don't mind too much. So the show started in the evening. I managed to get a Uber to the Fonda Theatre and back from the hotel. Even though I queued in line with everybody else, I actually got into the show last due to some kind of complication with admission, probably because I was traveling in from overseas. So I eventually get in last, and as I'm walking into the pre-show Q&A, Ethan is already up on the stage talking to the audience, and I'm down here trying to find myself a seat. So I finally found myself a seat, and then Ethan goes on to start picking raised hands in the audience to answer their questions. I did have a question, but there were actually way more VIPs in the audience than I thought there would be. So in the end, I didn't actually end up getting picked. There were still a lot of people by the end of it that had their own questions that they wanted to ask, but you know, we didn't have enough time for everybody, and what can I say, had to get ready for the show. Once the Q&A was over and there was a short break before the show itself, I suppose I felt a little disappointed because I bought the VIP ticket and I travelled a long way to come and see the show. So I guess I was just hoping for a little bit more personal interaction. But at the same time, this was not a meet and greet or anything like that. This was just a Q&A. So it was fairly low key to begin with. Luckily for me, even though the Q&A was over, there were still some opportunities awaiting in the upcoming show itself. But before I continue, I'll just start by saying that I'm not going to be sharing really any information about the show itself. There's zero evidence to suggest that Ethan backflipped off of a moving motorcycle at any point throughout the show. The secrecy and the mystery behind the show was one of the main incentives to purchase a ticket and go and see the show for yourself in the first place. It's something that's best and only experienced live in person. And if you saw the show, you saw it. And if you didn't see the show, well then you didn't see it. And you'll probably never get a chance to see it again. It's a reason why Ethan didn't allow any of the audience members to record any of the show on their phones or share any of it to the general public. Excluding one exception in which we were allowed to film Ethan for a little while, but only for a short moment. And if you'd like to see it, well, here it is.
I made this show a little for you too.
Charming as always. But in all seriousness, aside from this short clip, I really can't disclose any other details about the show, except for one thing. I mentioned that I missed out on including myself in the Q&A, but luckily for me, during the beginning of the show, Ethan actually asked the audience, you know, how far they've come to see the show. Being one of the very few, if not the only person traveling from overseas, this was an opportunity for me. Basically put my hand in the air and called out Australia like the patriot that I am. And I did manage to catch a little bit of attention from Ethan in the audience, so that was nice. I don't know how many people would have travelled overseas from outside the US to come see the show, but obviously not too many because Ethan seemed a little surprised to have an Australian in the audience. I think I said something like, I've never been outside of Australia before, but I came all this way just to see your show. But despite how sickeningly sweet that statement is, it is 100% true. If I think about it, I really did leave Australia for the very first time and go to the other side of the world, to America, just to see this show. Among other reasons, of course. It's pretty crazy. But I'm glad that I did, because I know that this is just the beginning, and I'm definitely going to go back to LA one day. At some point near the end of the show, Ethan spoke seriously about himself and also about his channel, which naturally got me into the headspace where I was giving serious consideration into myself and my own channel. And I believe that ultimately there were a lot of positives to take away from seeing the show and to take away from visiting LA. It's ultimately a very positive and rewarding experience, and has provided me with inspiration to pursue my own dreams and ambitions with more passion than ever. So that is basically most of my holiday. We did spend a day traveling on the tour buses, and we did go to Santa Monica Beach for a stop off just to take in some of the sights. But apart from that, that is pretty much it. Now that I'm done with holidays and done celebrating my birthday, it's time to acknowledge my channel's 2-year anniversary. The first 2 years of my channel have been a very slow and gradual start, as opposed to what I'm planning on being a lifelong passion. And though every day I'm still acquiring brand new skills and experience, and also learning from many mistakes along the way, I'm very adamant on improving the quality of my channel by uploading videos more frequently and more consistently, and also by uploading a wide variety of new and interesting content. As I've mentioned, I've got plenty of ideas, and I think it's about time to start breathing life into those ideas in order to make them a reality. So yeah, there's nothing more to say except I am dying to get back into making new and better content for my channel. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do that. And please keep watching. Until next time, see you later.